Right, this is Funding Outdoor Learning by Amy Young, Piedmont University, EDS 8851 with Dr. Chris Fawcett. Did you know that 7 hours is the average time per day the typical American child sits in front of an electronic screen? And on average, a mere 4 to 7 minutes in outdoor undirected play. And this is why we need more outdoor learning. 5 to 16-year-olds are averaging 6 hours per day of screen time. Doctors recommend children spend 3 hours per day outside, preferably in unstructured playtime. Spending time in nature has been shown to increase engagement, boost moods, encourage social skills, develop problem solving, and learn risk assessment for students involved in outdoor learning. So the next question is, how can we fund outdoor learning spaces? Well, we would love it if that money were already in the budget. However, after speaking with my principal, interviewing with my principal on the subject, very often it is not. Instructional costs, academic costs of all sorts come first, of course. Things like math manipulatives, subscriptions to different magazines or different computer programs. All those sorts of things take first priority. So kids come first, not meaning that outdoor learning is not for kids, but our basic academic and instructional costs come first. Then facilities, of course, have to be kept up with, and safety is a big priority these days as well. So outdoor learning is usually not real high on the list when it comes to budgeting our regular budgets. Grants are a way that you could fund outdoor learning. I spoke with Hannah Bagley, who is a program coordinator at our local Rome Floyd Eco Center, and Eco stands for our three rivers: Etowah, Coosa, and Oostanala. I thought it was just a ecological environmental kind of place, and it is, but that's what it stands for. That's just a fun fact. That's free. So she writes grants for a lot of the programs she does through the Eco Center. She writes some that are from private corporations, some are from government agencies, and just by the way, she said that private corporations were much easier to write grants for. They had a lot less restrictions. Government agencies have to be very, very meticulous, very detailed, and they want to know what you're spending down to the tableware, the napkins for any sort of event you might use. That's just an example. She said that a lot of grant money goes unclaimed just because people don't write the grants because they are overwhelmed by it or intimidated by it. One of her big things was to point out that you need to consult experts, whether those be engineers or what have you. She's run into in the past existing infrastructure being not up to par and going over budget that way. She suggests building in a cushion is a good way to shield yourself from, say, inflation or those infrastructure costs. She also said volunteers, of course, from local civic groups or Boy Scouts, which would be a civic group, I suppose. Anyway, using volunteers is another way to defray costs when doing grants or budgets for outdoor learning. Some potential pitfalls we sort of mentioned in the last one. inflation, of course, and we've seen that in the last few years. Things that didn't cost that much last year are gonna, are very inflated this year. Infrastructure issues, as we said, unforeseen maintenance costs. So you have to really kind of think about, what is not just what is this costing me now, but what's it going to take money wise to maintain it. And there are lots of restrictions sometimes within the grants, and that can kind of put you in a bind. And then, last of all, fundraising. Fundraising is a great way to get some extra money for some of the things you might want to do for outdoor learning. You need permission from the school or the system administration. You need to advertise, enlist volunteers, and last of all, be transparent with what with the people who you're getting the money from or raising the money from. Be transparent with them about what it's going toward. And thank you for listening. And maybe, here we go, are my references. Thank you.